it's me again, and it's very hot. It's currently 103 degrees outside still. Tomorrow, it's supposed to be 102. Tuesday, we're coming in at a balmy 99 degrees. Better get your jacket on for that one. So, in other news today, we do have a light MMTLP update. George Palikaris, when asked about what's the status with that presentation we were told about back in March, there was nothing, but somebody did bring up the fact that the whole savings, like the TSP, Canadian version of the TSP account, which is if you had MMTLP in it, they're telling you no more MMTLP by August 30th. I've heard different stories. Some people say it's by August 30th. Some people say you have until the end of the year. It depends on your side of the story. But George Palikaris responded, being that he is a Canadian citizen now, and he says that we plan to complete the process, the spin-out process, by that date, which is August 30th. So George says it will be done by late August. Hopefully it'll be done before then, and, you know, if you'd like to see when the S1 will be approved, you can go on to the SEC website to look for that S1. Once we are given the S1, that will start the spin-out process into OilCo. And we will see what the S1 filing says. If the S1 filing is good, MMTLP might rise. And if MMTLP starts to drastically rise, it's where you have a plan here if you want to exit out or not. Even if you're worried about your shares being in Canada, you still have an exit strategy at this time where you can seal some profit. Between the time of the S1 and the time MMTLP goes bye-bye, MMTLP, there's a good chance it'll rise. At which point, have a plan. Remember your training. Have a plan. So this is where we set sell limits. I know a lot of brokerages don't let you set a sell limit more than like 30% of the price. So you might have to wait a bit and just watch it closely. Some brokerages you can set whatever price you'd like JP Morgan you can, E-Trade you can. Some brokerages you can't, and you can only go a certain percentage, sadly. So you have to keep a close eye on things. But know what your sell limit is. And then you can do a move up or a stepwise function. For example, you're going to sell 20% at XYZ dollars, and then maybe you'll sell another 20% in the next $5 increment or the next $10 increment. The increments are up to you, and the prices are completely up to you. Some of us have much higher prices, and some of us have lower prices. But it's up to you to discover what price you want, and think about what price you want. And the last question is, do you want to hold some? You know, some people want to hold until they get the dividend. I know Terry has talked about that. They just want to hold until they get the dividend, whatever it is. And when the Oro Grande sells, you know, they're holding on for that. And who knows? I mean, it could be at a point where as soon as it spins out, you know, something could be announced, which would be great. Or it spins out and we still got to complete the drilling plan and then something's announced. Maybe that potential buyer might commit once the 2022 drilling plan starts. You never know. But if you don't want to wait, you can always sell into the run-up. And that's a fine strategy to have. There's no one wrong way to do any of this, really. I mean, this is completely up to you. It's your money, your choice. You know, maybe do you want to hold some? You know, if you're like me and you think the dividend's going to be rather high, then you're not going to settle for any small bits. If it runs up quite significantly high, then, you know, maybe you'll start selling some MMTLP off. You know, that's up to you. It's whatever your risk tolerance is and how patient you are. It's a combination of those variables which you should start writing out a plan. I've talked about this before. Have a plan, write it down, maybe show it. When things heat up in front of your screen, maybe show that plan. It's nice to have a plan because then it kind of mitigates your risk. You know, when you're exposed to risks all the time. A lot of people don't really have an exit strategy plan. That seems to be a big one. And the nice thing about sell limits is that, let's say you're away from the computer for a bit, at least you'll be okay. Like it reaches your goal and then drastically drops. You should be okay with the sell limit. But it depends. It depends. So sell limits can be a good thing. And of course, George's tweet. George also faved this other tweet that somebody mentioned me in. That they're, with their divvy money, they're going to go buy a beach in the Philippines. And they invited me and George out there. And I said I'd like to go. I've never been to the Philippines before. Seems fun. So after the spin out process, if there is a buyer, it depends how far things are along with the sale process. If something's announced right at the time of spin out, it still could take a couple of months to actually get payment received, even if there's cash on hand. I'll cite the, ConocoPhillips Shell deal. That was announced in September and it was completed by December. So that was 3 months right there. And so it takes a few months. It depends on if this is cash or stock, what's ready to go, if there's any holding limitations to all that. And again, this comes down to your patience, your risk. If you're fine with waiting, a bit, that's awesome. Maybe you want to hold some. Maybe you want to sell some and hold some, right? Get some money now. Fuel prices are pretty ridiculously high right now. Get some money just so you can afford to drive to work. And then you can hold out the rest. The choice is yours. But it's good to make your plan now. Because it seems like we're closing down to the end of the light in terms of spin out goes. We're finally closing down and everything should be completed spin out wise by August 30th, but it could be before. Again, I would check on the SEC website every day for the S1. It doesn't tell you when the S1 is filed for any of those companies. All it does is tell you when it's approved. I'll check every day, and when I see it come up, I will make a video, of course. And we'll be interested to see what the S1 says in particular. Of course, when that comes out, I'll do a video on the filing, what it says, what that means for us as investors. But it looks like we're going to have by August 30th or before. August 30th was the date of the Canadian Savings Plan account with MMTLP in it. George said sometime before then. And on a final note, I'd like to point out the fact that Robert Lance Cook is indeed the shareholder representative for the preferred shares. I remember seeing something about Robert Lance Cook on Twitter way back when, and this would have been around May 2021, so over a year ago. And it got deleted. I couldn't find it. And then here it is, Robert Lance Cook. For those who don't know, Robert Lance Cook was a senior drilling advisor for Shell. He was the director of Torchlight, and now he is the co-founder of Sage Geosystems. Okay, guys, that's it for today. I will see you soon. Goodbye.